Connecticut, the case against Fotis Dulos, or as I should now call it, the case against Michelle Troconis, formerly the Fotis Dulos case. May he rest in hell if he was guilty of those crimes alleged. So today, Michelle Troconis is back in court, but with a new attorney. This is an attorney that was hoping to kind of change her situation. She's been on house arrest. And to find out exactly what happened, our own Aaron Keller was there, and he filed this report.
The Hartford newspaper referred to this as unprecedented, and I completely agree, and I give them credit for using that word because it is the most accurate word to describe what Norm Pattis is doing. He basically filed a document with the court in Stamford, Connecticut, saying, I want to have Fotis Dulos tried even though he is dead. Go ahead, let the state put witnesses on the chair, let me cross-examine them. We want to have a trial in an attempt to clear the name of Fotis Dulos. This is actually a moot proceeding now. I would be shocked if a court allows this to continue, to actually try Fotis Dulos after he's dead. From what Norm Pattis has said on the record in court, he was beside himself, very shaken when he learned of this on Tuesday. He said there were no signs whatsoever. He was afraid and doing a serious degree of soul searching about whether or not he had properly lived up to his obligations as a defense attorney. Fotis Dulos said right up to the grave, if we're to believe that there's this note that he left in his car, which his attorney is confirmed was indeed left, Fotis Dulos professed his innocence right up until the end.
I just want to say that I love my children.
So either we believe him that he didn't do this and he had no information to give, or we can look nefariously and say that he took information to the grave. Where is Jennifer Dulos? Her family believes she was dead long ago. Authorities eventually moved in that direction. We potentially lost a source of information as to where she may be.
This is Aaron Keller for the Law&Crime Network.
And thank you, Aaron. So as I mentioned, Michelle Troconis, in connection with this case, has gotten a new attorney and has asked for a number of things to kind of lighten her load on bond. She's out on a $2.1 million bond. Let me ask Katie. She's asking for things, as I understand it, to reduce the constrictions on her movements. She's in a 1,000 square foot apartment. Wants to go out to visit her daughter who's living with somebody else. Wants to have more of a life. Is that going to happen?
I don't think it should happen. I think the fact that she has the freedom that she does have right now is fantastic. I think it's one of those things where you should probably just let sleeping dogs lie.
Quit while you're ahead. I mean, yeah. $2.1 million bond. I mean, Joseph, what do you think the impact is to a defendant when they are allowed home confinement, far better than prison, but even then it's so confined it probably starts to feel like prison?
Yeah, I would imagine a certain level of fear creeps into their mind as well. You know, they're thinking that I'm being watched, that sort of thing, and you get inside a 1,000 square foot apartment and it wears on you after a while. You can't go out, and so this is wearing on her. But to a bigger issue here, Michael, with Dulos gone now, I'm really wondering, the lifeblood of any investigation, the wellspring, if you will, is information. And he's the center point in this whole thing. And I'm really wondering where this is going to go now, just from an investigative standpoint. I've followed this case for a long time now and been over it and over it and over it. And I just hate that he left this world without giving us something definitive. Now it's going to fall to these other two characters that are involved in this thing to try to get as much information that you want. I think that maybe they could leverage a little bit more freedom for her if she would provide a little bit more information. We'll see where that goes.
Yeah, but we always thought that maybe she would roll over on Fotis Dulos. Yep. Obviously, that's no longer an issue, but you may be right. She may be looking to help herself by offering something. Remember, we're still going to see a trial. She's still charged with the conspiracy to commit murder as well as the tampering and other charges. And, of course, the attorney Kent Mulvaney also charged with conspiracy. And so there is going to be a trial. And within that trial, the underlying murder, if that's what they can prove, is going to have to be proven to a jury. So I think we're going to get the whole story. But you're right, Joseph. It's kind of an interesting horse trading that might take place to get us there. Let's listen now to the new attorney. Again, Michelle Troconis with a new guy, the new plan. This is Mr. Schoenhorn.
Today was just about loosening the restrictions on her house arrest. We have postponed until March 20th consideration of any other motions that will be pending or are already pending. Perhaps that will be when we discuss the change of venue, that is moving the case to the Hartford Judicial District. Other than that, it was more of a first court appearance. Michelle pled not guilty today on the most recent charges and asked for a jury. And until I've reviewed the material that were just given to me, and that's why I brought this large briefcase, I have no other comment because I don't know enough to say anything other than what I've said before. Michelle is innocent of these charges, and we plan to fight them through the courts. Thank you very much.
Can you share any reaction to the death of Fotis Doulos from Ms. Troconis?
No, I would say that that's not appropriate.
Mr. Troconis, is there anything you want to
For Michelle Troconis, Mr. Schoenhorn, and like I said, his goal today was to get some restrictions released, or at least lessened, and the judge did not rule on that. I don't think he's also got another motion that he just filed today to move the case from Stamford up to Hartford, Connecticut. Press will be less pressing, according to the defense attorney. We'll keep you posted on how that all shakes out. Hey, joining us now from California, Dina Dahl is with us, joining our panel, the attorney and mediator. How are you, Dina? You've been watching this Troconis case now. What are your thoughts on her new attorney's attempts to kind of change the game?
Yeah, it was a good attempt on his part to change her bond restrictions. It was interesting. He claimed how, the deceased, when he had his bond, he was allowed to go to work and shop for himself, and she didn't. I thought that was a really good argument, considering he was actually being charged with a stricter, more higher level crime than she is.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. I mean, $2.1 million bond for the conspiracy charge alone seems high, but then so does $6 million for Fotis Doulos before he no longer needed that accommodation. There's a lot of money floating around here, and that may be a good business to get into. Katie Smith, let me ask you, is there a chance this is going to be moved to Hartford?
I don't think it's likely. I think it's going to go where it's already been settled. There's been so much already occurring in this venue, and also I don't see the factors that would articulate justifying the move.
Yeah, and they actually moved it where they did to get out from under some issues further upstate. And our own Aaron Keller, who has intimate knowledge of Connecticut, says you have to go somewhere else deep in the sticks to really see a difference in how the press might cover this case. And of course, we're part of that. So the Law&Crime Network will keep you posted on this case as it develops, as things move forward now against the former girlfriend and the attorney. Stay where you are. This is Law&Crime. We will be right back.